Marathon training is hard. Add life into the mix like friends, family, getting sick, having to travel, and it gets even harder. See, I'm someone who enjoys more of a stable schedule to my day. It's what helps me be able to balance having a full-time job while also having 2 young kids, a wife, and still being able to do relatively high mileage for my half marathon or marathon training. But obviously things happen in life that you can't control and you just have to adjust. So this week I'm traveling for work and I'm spending the next 4 days in Seattle. It also happens to be my highest mileage week with my half marathon training. So I figured today I'd share 3 things that I do to help make running a little easier when I'm traveling or when life just gets too crazy. So the first thing I do to make running a little easier when life gets crazy is I utilize my data to help manage my running. So the one thing I really like about my Coros watch is that it tracks my sleep every single night, as well as my heart rate variability from that sleep, and it tracks my stress throughout the day. I can then utilize these metrics to look at how my body is responding to the craziness of life to make sure that I'm not overdoing things and I can make informed decisions about how I go about my running. So on days like today where I had to wake up early, I've been on a long flight to Seattle, I can make better decisions on how I wanna go about my running by looking at my metrics to see how my body's currently feeling, and I can ask myself, does my body actually feel the way the metrics are showing in the data? Another thing I never do a single run without, even when I'm traveling, is this heart rate monitor armband. And the main reason is that I like having it with me on every run so that I can get the most accurate heart rate reading possible while I'm on the run, to use that data to make informed decisions while I'm on the run to see how my body is responding to that stimulus of running, to see if I can keep going as is or if I need to maybe pull it back. And the last thing I use to make my running easier is my Coros pod. I bring this with me on every single run, and that's because whether I'm traveling or I'm at home, I know that I'm gonna get an accurate distance and an accurate pace reading with every single run. I don't have to worry about being somewhere new where I'm not sure if my GPS is actually gonna work and my pace might be all over the place or my distance might be all over the place, making my run really frustrating. The pod takes all that guesswork out of it and makes my running simple and easy. All right, and now the only thing left to do is actually go for a run. I have 11 miles on the schedule for today. Let's see how I'm feeling after that 5-hour flight. It's so weird being back here. My wife and I lived out here for a few years prior to kids. Our old apartment building is actually right over there. So it's so surreal seeing it, having been away for so long. A lot has changed and a lot has not changed. So when I said a lot has changed and a lot hasn't changed, one thing that did change is this like railway center that now exists. I believe this is the light rail or some type of tram system. Unfortunately, I was looking for the Kirkland Cross Corridor, which is like a, I don't know, like a 10-mile dirt path that cuts through Bellevue all the way up to basically Totem Lake. It looks like that entrance that used to exist there has now been replaced. So now I need to figure something out soon because I'm coming up to the 520 pretty quickly, and the plan was to hop on that trail. This is gonna be fun. Oh yeah. All right, I found it. All right, and with that, 11 miles is done. See how many rocks I collected really quick with the shoes. Only a few with this one, and let's see, a few more with this. I think I might start a rock collection while I'm here in Seattle. So I do want to apologize really quick for my voice. I was getting over being sick prior to traveling to Seattle, and unfortunately with all of this travel and the fatigue, it looks like things have been extended a little further and I've pretty much lost my voice. But on to the second thing I do to make running a little easier when life gets crazy is I utilize a website called On The Go Map. Now obviously On The Go Map is tailored a little bit more to making running easier while traveling, but to be honest, I actually use On The Go Map all the time, even when I'm at home. And that's primarily because using On The Go Map makes my running that much easier by mapping out my route prior to going for the run. So whatever my scheduled mileage is for the day, I'll build a route in On The Go Map so that when I'm actually out on my run, I don't have to worry about it too much. I don't have to think, will this run be too short? Will it be too long? I know that's already all figured out, and it makes my run that much easier. So today is a 6-mile recovery run. And with my recovery runs, I usually just try to keep my heart rate below 140. So basically a zone 2 run. This run was actually scheduled for Thursday, which is the day I fly out. But because of how I've been feeling the past few days, I moved today's 9-mile general aerobic run to Thursday and pulled this recovery run into today so that I could help give my body some rest. More rocks for the collection. All right, it is now Wednesday. The voice has still not returned, and today was actually my busiest day with work. It's already 6 p.m. in the evening and I have not gotten my run in yet for the day. I do luckily only have a 3-mile recovery run, which is actually what leads me into my third point of how to make running easier when life gets crazy. And that is that sometimes you just have to be willing to make adjustments with your running. Like I said earlier, marathon training is really hard, and sometimes life makes that even harder. So allowing for flexibility in your running and your training will make your running easier as well as make your life that much easier. So for me, knowing that I was traveling for these 4 days to Seattle, also knowing that this was my highest mileage week for my half marathon training, and knowing that I was going to be busy with work and getting over being sick, I knew that I was going to have to make a lot of adjustments and be really flexible with my running so that I could ensure that I was successful with both my work and successful with keeping my run streak alive while also maintaining that high mileage I needed to for my half marathon training. So today is the day I fly out, but before I fly out, I have to get in a quick 9-mile run. I tried to avoid the rain yesterday with the treadmill, but unfortunately, there's no way I'm doing 9 miles on that treadmill. So it's outside in the rain for today. So I do have a 4th bonus tip for everyone who's made it this far in the video and thought none of these tips are helpful in making running easier for my life. Here's one more tip that may be helpful. If you find that running is really difficult and your life is just too crazy, you're too busy, try time-based running as a way to make running easier and be able to fit it into your busy life. I've talked about time-based running quite a few times on this channel now. It's a training plan or running method that I've used in the past when life was really crazy for me. And the main reason I like time-based running to make running easier is the fact that I know no matter how fast or slow I am for a day, I'm only going to be out for whatever my scheduled set time is for that day, which makes trying to fit a run into your schedule way easier than trying to fit some specific mileage you're trying to hit for the day. Running 45 minutes versus running 6 to 8 miles. 45 minutes is a lot easier to fit into a schedule because you know exactly how long you'll be gone and you can try and make that work throughout the day. Whereas 6 to 8 miles, who knows how you're going to feel that day, and you don't have the ability to manipulate that run throughout the day to try and fit it into some free time that you may have. And the rock collection is complete. Whoever comes to clean this room is gonna wonder why there's so many rocks over on that table. And with that, those are the 4 things you can do to make running easier when life gets hard. And now I've got my coffee and a flight to catch.